Good evening and welcome. My name is Patrick Taylor and I serve as the 5th District Outreach Coordinator for Baltimore County Executive Catherine Klausmeier's Office of Community Engagement. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the first night of our 8th Budget Town Hall series. Having open and honest conversations with the people of Baltimore County about their budget priorities sustains our commitment to an accessible and responsive government. We strive to build a better Baltimore County together by focusing on sustainable and equitable opportunities for all. Our budget reflects our priorities and aspirations for the coming year, and we're proud to continue engaging residents as an essential part of this process. Tonight, we begin our fiscal 2027 budget discussions for District 5, hosted by your County Executive, Kathy Klausmeier, and your Councilman, David Marks. We will begin the town hall with brief remarks from Councilman Marks. County Executive Klausmeier will then offer welcome remarks, along with an overview of projects in District 5. Kevin Reed, Director of Baltimore County's Office of Budget and Finance, will follow with a brief budget presentation. After Director Reed's presentation, residents and stakeholders will have the opportunity to share their budget-related priorities, with each speaker allotted 90 seconds. The County Executive, Baltimore County Department Heads, and Councilman Marks will listen to your questions, concerns, and ideas. If a question cannot be answered tonight, a coordinator from the Office of Community Engagement or a designated department representative will follow up with you. Before we begin, a few housekeeping items for attendees. An American Sign Language interpreter will be on screen for the entirety of the meeting. If you would like to focus on the interpreter during the presentation, you may select panelists Winter McCullough or Alyssa Enders and choose the option to focus or pin their video so it appears centered on your screen. Please note that WebEx also offers a closed caption feature, which provides real-time text of what speakers are saying, and participants may select their preferred language. To turn on closed captions, select the CC icon at the bottom of the meeting window at any time. We are also joined by Immigrant Affairs Chief Juliana Valencia Banks, who will interpret Spanish language budget priorities into English. If you're unable to share your priorities this evening, you may still submit them for consideration by emailing townhall@baltimorecountymd.gov. We will ensure that our leadership team reviews each and every submission. And now it's my honor to welcome District 5 Councilman David Marks.
Thank you very much, Patrick, and welcome everyone to the 5th District Budget Town Hall meeting. It's great to see so many friends and neighbors and community leaders. I wanted to begin by welcoming my staff, Sam Walters, Bradley Lang, Allison Lex, and Judy Coleman. I want to thank all of you for the input and support you've provided me as councilman over the past 4 years. Certainly want to thank the county executive and her administration and her predecessor for the support they've provided. I just want to outline some of the major milestones we've been able to accomplish over the past few years, kind of the big projects. In Middle River, the purchase of 85 acres of waterfront at the former CP Crane property, a new traffic light at Campbell Boulevard and Bird River Road, advancement of the new Essex Police Station. In Kingsville, we've worked with the state to move a Maryland Transportation Authority maintenance area closer to Interstate 95, protecting Mount Vista Park and the heart of that community. In White Marsh, thanks to support from elected officials at the state and local levels, we opened the first middle school on the east side in a half century and activated a badly needed traffic signal at Buck Schoolhouse Road and Perry Hall Boulevard. And in Kearney, we celebrated the opening of a renovated Pine Grove Middle School. Because of that project and the new Nottingham Middle School, overcrowding at Perry Hall Middle School is now eliminated. And in Perry Hall, and I particularly thank the county executive for this, the resurfacing of Honeygo Boulevard and Ridgely's Choice Drive. I'd like to thank all those who make these projects possible, including those who budgeted for these improvements and worked for their office many years ago. Every year we are told that money is tight. Certainly it is tight this year. And my hope is that Baltimore County can try to finish projects for which funding has already been allocated, such as the Gerst Road Park, and developing a plan for completing urgently needed projects such as new fire stations. I'm also reminded of the importance of investments in our water mains. We had a break at the Hallfield Manor Drive water main today the second one this week. The good news is that money's been allocated to help advance that project, and I'd like to thank the County Executive's Administration for her support. So thank you all very much for attending tonight. I look forward to hearing everyone, and it's my pleasure to welcome County Executive Klausmeier.
Thank you, Councilman Marks. I'm glad you were able to join us this evening.
Absolutely.
So, and all your whole staff is listening?
They all are, all four of them,
Okay.
yes.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for our first budget town hall of 2026. I'm glad to be here with Councilman David Marks, who continues to be a strong and dedicated advocate for District 5. While we were looking forward to seeing everyone at Perry Hall High School this evening, the extreme cold and ongoing snow and ice cleanup made challenges for tonight's town hall to a virtual one for the safest option. I want to give thanks to all the staff who made this happen this evening. It was just unbelievable, the hard work that went into it. I'm also joined by Baltimore County's Administrative Officer, DeAndrea Walker, and the Director of Budget and Finance, Kevin Reed, along with leadership from all of our county departments. We're also here with members of our Office of Community Engagement team who help make sure we're hearing directly from you and staying connected to your communities. Most importantly, thank you to everyone who took the time to join us tonight to share your budget priorities with us. I have a strong and long-lasting connection to this community. I've lived in Perry Hall for 73 years. My husband has lived here his entire life with his family, and we raised our daughters here as well. In the past, I've served 3 terms as Gunpowder Elementary PTA president, and now I am an active member of the Perry Hall Kingsville Lions Club. I've also had the great honor of serving in the Maryland General Assembly as a delegate and a senator for 30 years. Last year, we celebrated Perry Hall's 250th anniversary. I would hope that some of you are listening, you remember that. We had the symphony out in Perry Hall. This year, I invite everyone to join in marking the United States 250th anniversary. Many exciting events like Sail 250 Maryland will be happening across the county in the months ahead. These events will include fun and informative programs, as well as opportunities to see the Blue Angels at Martin State Airport and explore the Glenn L. Martin Aviation Museum. This anniversary gives us a chance to reflect on where we've been and think about where we're going. Before we move into a brief budget presentation, I want to be clear about the challenges we're facing this year. Once again, decisions at the state and federal levels have made this a challenging budget year. Baltimore County is facing real fiscal pressures and limitations, and this means we have to be careful and thoughtful about all of our budget allocations. Even in a tough environment, our priority is to make responsible choices while continuing to provide the services and resources on which you rely. While we don't yet know what additional challenges may come from the state or federal government and won't know final details until the General Assembly passes the state budget in the spring, I do know that the choices ahead will not be easy. Even so, we will continue to deliver real investments throughout Baltimore County. But before we dive into budget details, I want to highlight some of the work we've been able to do, especially right here in District 5. Besides all the wonderful things that Councilman Mark has already noted, we have a couple others. The most important investments we make are in our schools and in our children. In District 5, we've delivered more than $14 million for improvements at 5 schools. That includes nearly $3.5 million for upgrades at Perry Hall High School, more than $8 million for open space and mechanical improvements at Oliver Beach Elementary School, and over $1 million to support improvements at Joppa View and Martin Boulevard Elementary Schools. And also, air conditioning is due to be installed finally in Perry Hall Elementary's cafeteria this summer. We've also continued to invest in keeping our community safe. More than $4 million has gone towards building improvements and much needed maintenance at fire and police stations in District 5. These investments make our buildings safer and more efficient, and they help to support the officers and the first responders who serve us every day. We're grateful for their service and proud to support them for the work that they do. We're also thankful for our volunteer fire companies who committed to our communities is unmatched. Their commitment to our communities is unmatched. Our budget includes $2 million to continue the volunteer medic unit replacement program. We've also provided nearly $1 million to increase the volunteer incentive for attendance programs from $35 to $50 an hour for our volunteer firefighters and EMS providers. I would like to say thank you to all our public safety folks. Everyone should have access to parks, recreation programs, and open space. These investments improve quality of life and help protect the natural resources of our county, including in District 5. We've delivered more than $7 million for parks, recreation centers, ball fields, playgrounds, and other facilities across the district. That includes nearly $3 million for improvements at Days Cove Park, more than $1.8 million to renovate 7 playgrounds, including those at Honeygo Regional Park and Laura Lee Community Center. We've also provided more than $800,000 to improve tennis courts at Chapel Hills and Harford Hills Elementary Schools. Nearly $500,000 for upgrades at Eastern Regional Park and additional funding for recreation projects throughout the district. We continue to support teams, programs, and services that keep residents healthy, supported, and connected in Baltimore County. Our Office of Community Engagement is a team of dedicated professionals who help connect residents with resources and programs countywide, and you may know many of them. They help answer questions and can always triage you to other county agencies as needed. And you won't just hear from them by phone. You will see OCE at public events, community meetings, and conducting outreach to ensure every voice in our community is heard. Public forums like these budget town hall meetings help remind our residents about the essential services and programs local government provides to meet the needs of our constituents. For example, our mobile health unit, an effort managed by the health department, is helping to bring care directly into communities. Since the start of fiscal year 25, the unit has visited nearly 500 community events, connected almost 6,000 residents with healthcare professionals, and provided vaccines, screenings, and life-saving medication like Narcan. In addition, we've offered resources to support home modifications and repairs that helps renters and homeowners, including seniors and those impacted by disability. These programs, administered by our Department of Housing and Community Development, as well as the Department of Aging, help residents in need to stay safe, comfortable, and independent. Beyond services and programs, we work to strengthen community connections. We know that Baltimore County residents like to give back when they can, which is why I'm proud of efforts of our volunteer center. Since launching the volunteer center in 2023, over 2,500 volunteers have registered and been partnered with local nonprofits to support events like the Power of Age Expo and the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, to name a few. These efforts make our county stronger and more connected. We're proud of these investments we made in District 5 and across Baltimore County. This work is only possible through strong partnership with our departments, council members, community leaders, and residents. As we look ahead, our goal is to present a balanced budget that reflects our values, responds to real challenges, and continues to invest in our communities, even in this difficult time. With that, I'd like to invite Kevin Reed, the county's Director of Budget and Finance, to walk us through a brief budget presentation. Kevin Reed, take it away.
Thank you, Madam County Executive, and it's a pleasure to be here tonight on virtually with everybody. Thank you for taking an interest in our county budget, which is your budget, and being an advocate for your community. But I wanted to start briefly by simplifying how our county gets funding. And it's three main ways. We have user fees, and that is funding for services that you use. An example of that would be if you were to get an animal services, an animal license, could be community college tuition you pay or other permitting. And the idea is that would partially offset the cost of that activity. You also pay taxes. Everyone probably pays taxes here, and that's funding for the services you and others use. And that goes to our school system, our roads, and our public safety. And then finally, we have grants, and really that's broken down into federal and state and external funding that we get. If we look at our FY26 operating budget, we have, it's a $4.8 billion budget, and that's all funds. And if you look at the left side of our pie chart, we have real and personal property tax that you pay and income tax. That makes up about half of our total budget. If you're looking at our general fund budget, it's about $2.8 billion, and that would make up about 83% of our general fund budget, our county supported budget. And then you'll see the 26% in state aid. That really is a majority of that goes to the public school system and the community college. I wanted to call attention to the 8% in federal aid, and that is about $395 million for FY26, and that is school system and community college and all of our component units. And that is something, obviously, as you all know, we're laser focused on right now, ensuring that we do get the appropriate appropriations and that we are getting reimbursed for those activities timely. If you look at where the money goes, over half of every local tax dollar goes to the public school system, the community college, and our libraries. And the other larger slice you see is our pensions, debt service, and the cost of running the business. We're an organization that's not immune to operating in this environment with higher inflation and just the regular cost to do business with healthcare, debt service, and all of those mandatory costs keep rising. If we look at our capital budget really quick, it's a $3.2 billion capital outlay over the 6-year program. And about half of that capital budget is water and sewer user fees. And you'll see that equal amount goes out. That is a metropolitan district, and it is a self-supporting fund. And if you look at our revenue on the left, about 39% is funded by general obligation bonds. And those are the bonds that we borrow to fund one-time capital projects. We try to offset that with cash, which is a small portion of the 6% when we can. So that part of the pie can grow or it can shrink the cash, and that will shrink the general obligation bonds. Just like it's prudent to pay cash for everything, we try to pay as much cash as we can to have less reliance on borrowing. I wanted to mention the Spending Affordability Committee, and that is a committee when we're formulating our operating budget that ensures that our spending, our ongoing spending, does not exceed the rate of the economy's growth. In simple terms, and that's a committee formed by the council and some council members and some lay folks, I believe, and Councilman Marks is on that committee. And it's a good budget management practice. It's a good mechanism. It really keeps our growth in check, but it does create challenges as far as formulation, because we do try to formulate our budget within those guidelines each year. So in looking at each year, in FY26, for instance, the current year that we're in, we had 4.9% in growth, and it sounds like a very large growth rate, $128 million. It sounds like a lot of money. But if we look about where that was broken down, 31% of that went to the school system, the community college, and the library, and 25% went to retirement and Social Security. And you would think that's a large portion. And we're going to talk about this in a moment, that we had to absorb a lot of state retiree pension costs for teachers and community college employees within our SAC guideline last year, spending affordability. All other increases, you'll see again, the 15%, that's our contractual services, utilities and supplies and materials. Really the cost of doing business again eats up that whole $128 million. There is not enough left for new programs or new things. There is never enough money to go around to fund everything that we want. When we look at state cost shifts, and I mentioned that, I wanted to talk briefly about what happened in FY26. The state passed on about $15 million in state cost shifts, and that was a majority of that was in state-managed teacher pension costs. Although Baltimore County has a pension system, our teachers and a majority of the BCPS staff were in the state pension system. And the state is continuing to pass along additional costs, and that's something that we had to absorb, along with a little under $1 million in private pre-K expansion related to the blueprint. And then, as you know, we have assessments. The State Department of Assessments and Taxation does assessments on your property, and that is then we collect the revenue, and that is an activity that they're starting to build the counties for. So this is all part of that pie that we have to fit into what we have to deal with, and we expect more passed on costs in FY27. We do not expect it to go down. I wanted to touch briefly on our capital budget. Our capital improvement funding, FY27 is what we call an off year. And an off year means that we already have our bonds programmed in our current FY26 budget. And that's what you all went into the voting booth and voted on. And now we built that into the FY26 budget. So FY27 is really an off year. And as Councilman Marks mentioned, it's really a catch-up year to continue to move forward with the projects that were already funded. So you see how every other year we have a large infusion into our capital budget because it runs on a biennium, and that's really the bond funding that you all vote on that we add into the budget. So when you look at FY27, you see it's a small number. If you look at our budget documents, you'll notice $20 million every other year ongoing in costs. We're estimating about $50 million this year in cash that we will be able to put in the budget, but this is very preliminary in the budget process. It could grow, it could shrink. But when we look at our needs, we have about $325 million in needs to do everything that everyone will want right now. Obviously, we're not going to have that. We are in an off year for 27. So I did want to make that comment. And I also want everyone to understand that although we have these town halls by district, we don't budget by district. We budget by needs and by major infrastructure as far as our studies that we have done going out into the future on our 275 major buildings. The next slide is still our capital budget. Again, we talked about immense needs, and we have, about $2 billion in long-term needs for future countywide construction projects over the remainder of the term. So the process, the capital budget's iterative. It builds, we reallocate, we move, we shuffle. Every year it changes, and we continue that long-term planning. So our budget building foundations. This is our 5 takeaways that as we build out FY27, it will be balanced. I want to skip the second bullet, and we'd already talked about the third, spending affordability. And we are asking the Spending Affordability Committee for flexibility as we plan FY27 in that what additional monies, current monies and additional monies have been passed on by the state. So we're gonna need some flexibility on how to deal with that and to build that in the baseline. We're listening to community members and needs. We again, thank you for being on tonight, but we want to ensure that every decision that is made is sustainable in the future, whether it's benefits or salaries. We don't want to have to claw back. We don't want to put ourselves in a bad situation to be unsustainable. And I did want to touch on the rainy day fund, the second bullet. The minimum amount that is being recommended by the bond rating agencies and our financial advisors is 15% rainy day fund. And that will really help us retain our AAA bond rating. We are one of about 50 counties in the country that still have this rating from all three major rating agencies. And if you've been paying attention, a lot of our peers and our neighbors have been downgraded recently. And that is a situation that they've been downgraded because the rating agencies have felt that there wasn't adequate reserves to buffer them from unexpected situations. And we all saw with the federal shutdown, which was the longest in history, that was something that we really needed flexibility to deal with. So why is the AAA bond rating important? It's having the best credit score. It's an 800, 900 credit score personally, and it allows us to borrow money when we do for one-time capital projects at the cheapest possible rate and saving tens of millions of dollars each year. But that is a recommendation. The good news, we are in a position to do this. We're not going to have to make major adjustments. We do have a sizable fund balance moving forward that will enable us to achieve this. Challenges ahead. I think the CE mentioned we have federal uncertainty that is ongoing. Our state budget deficit is a huge wild card. They are in a $1.4 billion deficit, and the governor's made a commitment not to raise taxes. So really the only mechanism to do is shuffle things around and pass more costs onto the county. And that is going to hit us potentially pretty hard. We have our required increases for employee and retiree health. We're not immune to that either. We're in a situation where we're seeing double-digit increases to provide health care for our employees and retirees. It's getting expensive. We talked about spending affordability guideline, and maintaining adequate reserves is going to be important. Not necessarily a challenge for FY27, but a challenge in the future. And from a capital budget standpoint, our impact of inflation and labor, again, if anyone has undergone a major maintenance renovation project in their own home, everything has gotten more expensive. We are not immune to that. Keeping these projects on schedule and on budget and on time. Again, FY27 is an off year as far as capital is concerned, so no bonding will be programmed that year. So to wrap up, we have our timeline. We're doing our town halls. The county executive will submit her budget on April 16th. It's a Thursday with the executive's budget message. At that time, it will be passed on to the council. The council can only reduce the budget. It can't move things around, and it cannot add by our charter and code. And the council will be having hearings on various agencies at the end of April through May, and they will adopt their budget at the end of May for our fiscal year beginning on July 1. So I wanted to thank you all tonight, and I'm going to pass it over to Patrick Taylor, who will have some additional remarks about the rest of the evening. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, County Executive Klausmeier, Councilman Marks, and Director Reed. It is now time for you to share your budget priorities with the County Executive and Councilman Marks. Speakers will be called on in the order in which their emails were received. When it's your turn, your microphone will be unmuted and each person will have 90 seconds to speak. For your convenience, a timer will be placed at the top of your screen. We want everyone to have the opportunity to speak, so please stick to the allotted time. Speakers will be notified when their time is up, and those who run significantly over will be at risk of having their microphones muted. I would like to remind everyone that WebEx's closed caption feature provides real-time text of what speakers are saying, and participants may select their preferred language. To turn on closed captions, select the CC icon at the bottom of the meeting window at any time. We also have Immigrant Affairs Chief Juliana Valencia Banks present, who will interpret Spanish language budget priorities into English. If you do not have the opportunity to address the county executive or the councilman tonight, you may email your statement to townhall@baltimorecountymd.gov. And with that, I will kick it over to Bill Baker to get started with the testimony.
Thank you, Patrick. Our first person up for public comment this evening is Holly Leisure. Holly, if you are with us, your mic should be unmuted now and your 90 seconds should begin. Holly, it's all yours.
Good evening. I am a resident of the Bay Country neighborhood in the Middle River Chase area. I'm also president of the Bay Country Homeowners Association. Several of the homeowners and board members are also in this meeting this evening, although they have elected for me to speak for our group. Our community operates a sewage pumping station that connects directly into the county system. In about 2023, the pumps were fully replaced with new up-to-code equipment through cooperation between our HOA and our longtime property management company, which was also, I believe, associated with the builder of these homes in the 80s. For over 35 years, that company had provided financial and logistical support to keep the station running. However, they are in the process of transitioning out. And within the next few months, the homeowners are expected to take on full responsibility. Managing this critical infrastructure and the costs that come with it are a significant burden for our Baltimore County homeowners. We are asking the county to consider taking over ownership and long-term management of the pumping station. The county oversight would ensure consistent professional maintenance, protect the environment, and relieve a potentially unsustainable financial strain on the homeowners, particularly many who are senior citizens and they have fixed incomes. We are prepared to provide any documentation that you may need, work closely with your offices and Public Works as this request is evaluated. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Holly. Next up for Pat Keller, you're next up for public comment. If you are with us, your 90 seconds begins right now. Pat Keller.
County Executive Klausmeier, Councilman Marks, and agency directors, good evening. My name is Pat Keller. I serve as president of NeighborSpace Baltimore County. We are a nonprofit land trust dedicated to enhancing livability of neighborhoods within the URL by developing local parks with communities. I just wanted to say a quick thank you to the county executive and hopefully for the council in supporting NeighborSpace as it is reflected in the capital budget. We work very hard, produce a lot of good parks countywide, and we appreciate the county's support. I also serve on the board of the Perry Hall Improvement Association, and I'd first like to thank you for support of our new schools, our road improvements, Silver Spring Road, Honeygrove Cross, Honeygrove Joppa. There are a couple projects the county has started and we'd like to see completed, and that would be the Gerst Road Park. If we could move that up in the CIP budget, that would be great. And then move the traffic circle at Honeygrove Boulevard and Cross Road up as well. And that intersection recently went through an intersection improvements with DPW, and we're very thankful for that, and that's helped quite a lot. In terms of future park planning, if you'd like to request $500,000 for a future park somewhere along Chapel Road, be put into the capital budget. These homes were built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s and really don't have a park within walking distance. It looks like I've just run out of time. I'd just like to do a quick shout out to Brian Shepard. Thanks for helping this past year with our 250th anniversary projects, Brian. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat Keller. Next up is John Schneckenberger with the Baltimore County Volunteer Fire Association. If you're with us, sir, your 90 seconds begins right now.
Last year, Baltimore County Fire Department provided 290,771 responses. Each time we meet an average of 4 people, sometimes the whole community. When you include community events, it is likely you'll meet every county resident over the course of a year. We are human faces that your constituents see in their homes on their worst day of their life with the sole goal to make things better. Elected representatives of Baltimore County need these meet and greets to be as positive as possible as it reflects your performance as a government. Volunteer EMS companies provided 19% of these responses. As a result of July's rate increase, volunteer EMS achieved 50% daytime staffing in the station. However, we are still below the true cost of providing quality ambulance services. The current rate is less than half the $120 plus an hour per career unit. The lack of appropriate funding results in volunteer companies taking money from their savings to provide services simply not being able to staff their unit. Over 10 years ago, the volunteer companies signed contracts authorizing Baltimore County to bill for transports. In return, Baltimore County agreed to cover all reasonable expenses. 18% of the $37 million in EMS revenue generated in Baltimore County is from volunteer transports. Only 73% of that revenue generated is being returned to volunteer companies to cover their EMS expenses. It is time to do the right thing. It is not like the funding is not there. This funding increase will restore fiscal solvency, increase the number of available staff units. This will decrease the time it takes to get critical life-saving care to the people that need it. On April 8, 1929, the Cockeysville Volunteer Fire Department put their first ambulance in service in Baltimore County. With proper funding, we continue to save taxpayers' money for the next 100 years. We're asking you to take people's lives seriously. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And this is Rebecca Young that would like to address that.
John, Rebecca.
Hey John, this is Rebecca. Happy to connect with you. I will get in contact with you via Chief Dixon, and we can connect on these issues.
Go back. And we had some adjustments to make on the audio equipment, and I would like to go back to Holly Leisure. I hope you're still there with your group, Holly.
Okay, they just unmuted me. I am here.
Oh, Holly, you're there?
I am here. Yeah, they have to unmute.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. There was a little glitch and since you were first, I'm sorry that it happened, but.
Oh, that's okay. No worries at all.
Okay, I'm going to have Director Lauren Buckler come on and talk to you right now, I think.
Great.
Good evening, Holly.
There you are. Oh, no, there's Lauren. Okay. Okay.
I'm here. I am familiar with this pump station and the private pump station issue. You know, we understand the difficulties of homeowners managing a private pump station. We've tried to prevent that from happening going forward on projects because it is something that is outside the scope of most HOA associations. We'd have to really take a hard look at the construction of this site to make sure safety levels are built at the standards that we operate our pump stations at. We can take a look at it. We can connect. I'm not sure how to transfer contact information through this.
She can send information through the town hall, and I will get it to you, Lauren.
Sounds great.
Through the town hall website. It's townhall@baltimorecountymd.gov.
So Holly, if you can reach out through that, and then we can get in touch and make a visit to the pump station.
That would be great.
Holly, you got that information?
I do. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. And Lauren will touch base with you. Okay. Thanks, Lauren. And next we had Pat Keller.
It looks like Pat has left the conversation.
Okay, thanks, Bill. You can call the next person then. Thank you.
Okay, next up for public comment is Susan Bollinger. Susan Bollinger, if you're with us, your mic is open and your 90 seconds begin right now.
Thank you. Good evening, County Executive and Councilman Marks. I am Susan Bollinger, President of the Baltimore County Volunteer Firefighters Association, which represents the 29 volunteer fire rescue, rehab, and EMS companies of Baltimore County. I want to educate you on our aging fleet. The average life of our fleet is at least double that of career units. We operate 188 pieces of equipment that have a replacement cost of over $138 million. The fleet consists of 88 major pieces, engines, tankers, trucks, and squads, 25 ambulances, and 75 special pieces. Thanks to the county's support of $2 million, we are replacing 4 ambulances per year. However, the rest of our fleet is aging at an alarming rate. Coupled with the dramatic increase in the cost of these vehicles, many companies are unable to replace their equipment. Historically, we replaced major units every 15 to 20 years. Now we are replacing them in 25 or 30 years. We have 15 engines, 4 trucks, and 15 specialty pieces that are over 20 years old. These units are at or past their recommended life. Most people would not drive personal vehicles that are 20 or 25 years old, but we are using them for emergency vehicles. New units have up to a 4-year build time. Replacements need to be ordered now so they are here before their 25th anniversaries. This is over $28 million of equipment. Holding off this replacement causes unsafe equipment to be on the road in our communities. This also costs our companies excess maintenance costs trying to keep this equipment safely on the road. The BCVFA Loan Fund offers low-interest loans to member companies for the purchase of apparatus. A new engine costs over $1 million and a truck over $2 million. The loan fund does not have enough revolving capital to support the replacement of all the units aging out of service. This is not sustainable. We must do better. We are requesting.
Okay, Susan, you've gone way over your allotted time. We're going to move on.
Okay, good. Susan, thank you so much for your comments. We'll work closely with DCAO, Rebecca Young, and make sure we reach out to you all and get your comments and see how we can partner on some of these things as we move forward in the budget. Thank you.
Next up for public comment is Mark Hoff. Mark, if you are with us, your mic is opened.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mark Huff, and I'm the president of the White Marsh County Improvement Association. Thank you all for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I'm asking the county to budget for as well as to advance design and construction to improve Ebenezer Road between Philadelphia Road and Pulaski Highway. The county should consider additional turn lanes at both ends of Ebenezer and also at northbound Philadelphia Road at eastbound Ebenezer, as well as any other improvements needed to help reduce continued congestion at this highly used and very important choke point. We greatly appreciate Councilman Marks's past and continued efforts to reduce overdevelopment near this area, as well as in the greater White Marsh area. In the end, the overwhelming increase in traffic along this busy corridor must be addressed to promote the safety of our residents, our first responders, and to ease travel in this area. As you all know, White Marsh Fire Department is right around the corner from this intersection, and there are no days that go by where the fire trucks and emergency vehicles there trying to turn onto this busy road and this very small road with no turn lanes or added lanes, where there's not a disaster waiting to happen or where response time isn't slowed down. So anything you all can do, this really needs to be addressed. And I appreciate you all and everything you do for our area and the county. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mark. I am going to have Lauren Buckler back on the screen to, I'm sure she's heard what you've had to say, and there she is.
I'm back. I am familiar with this request. It also came in through the planning board during the CIP meeting there. As Director Reed stated, this is an off year for new capital projects. That would be a pretty significant major capital project, but we are keeping it in our queue to take a look at. We do recognize the congestion in that area in general, and we did an area-wide traffic study looking at some of the failed intersections in that area and some of the improvements that we could make to relieve some of that congestion sooner rather than later. So we've been working with our partners in the state on that, as some of those roads you mentioned are state roads. Ebenezer Road is our road, and we will take that into account in future years.
And Mark's the president of the White Marsh Cowington Improvement Association. Mark, thank you for testifying.
Next up for public comment is Lloyd Allen. Lloyd, if you're with us, your mic is open.
Good evening, County Executive Klausmeier, County Council Member Marks. Thank you for your time. I'm Lloyd Allen, he, him, speaking as an individual. I moved to Baltimore in 1999 to teach mathematics at Parkville High School. As a general educator, most of my classes had 20 to 24 students, which was an ideal class size. I had one general education class that was as small as 13, that was balanced by two of the same course at the same level with 32. None of that was ideal. In the 13 student class, there was not enough discussion, and in the 32 student classes, it was more difficult to build rapport, to know the students as people with personalities, to give personalized feedback, to make positive phone calls home, and to return papers to students in a timely manner. However, the room in which I taught at least had enough square footage to fit 32 student desks. Some of my colleagues had larger classes where a student would sit at the teacher's desk, which could lead to mischief, where students had to sit on the radiator, or where students physically spilled out into the hallway. In 2012, I changed schools to become a special educator at Perry Hall High School, where we are tonight. I have seen both the executive and the council member at many an end-of-year faculty meeting commending staff who are exceptional and or retiring. As an educator, I am the school. As families, you are the school. As a community, including folks who don't have children, we are the school together. We are connecting, communicating, and educating each other right now. The school is not the building, the school is the people. Let us build these relationships and get students to reach their greatest potential by funding the school system in a way that enables acceptable class sizes. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. We have a close relationship with the superintendent, and we've heard what you had to say, so we are working with her to see if any adjustments can be made. Thank you for being a teacher. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it.
Okay, next up for public comment is Heather Martin. Heather, if you're with us, your mic is now open.
Thank you. This is my 13th year as an educator. Everyone says the first year is the hardest, and in some ways that's been true. But in most ways, things have become exponentially more challenging over the past decade. Each year, we give less and less to our students and teachers while requiring more and more of them. We're facing yet another year of staffing cuts. Teachers are exiting the career in droves because the demand continues to increase. The pay remains stagnant and challenges grow. I'm currently a library and media specialist. Some of my primary classes have 31 students, 5-year-olds. I leave at the end of the day feeling exhausted and like I haven't done enough. Because how can I? The fact is, one person is not enough to effectively reach 31 primary students. BCPS schools are central to survival for many of our students. We're expected to continue providing not only instruction, but food, mental health services, nursing, financial support, and social behavioral support to all students with a smaller and smaller budget. Rest assured, there will not be equity across schools. As budgets continue to shrink, parents of wealthier students will continue to provide educational experiences for their children, while the students in lower income schools will have to go without, as students' educational gaps grow and become insurmountable. These gaps are not financially sustainable, as students require their educational needs to be met in order to become productive citizens. I'm here tonight not asking for more. We are already below the bare minimum in staffing, and you are requiring us to dig deeper. There's nowhere to go. I'm asking you for the sanity of teachers and the educational needs of students to at least uphold the current staffing. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Heather. As I explained to Lloyd, we would be working, we have a good relationship with the superintendent, but in the end, it's a separate entity between the county and the school system. but we do have a good working relationship, and I will express what you said to her and as well as what Lloyd said. So thank you for taking your time. And again, thank you for teaching. I appreciate it.
Okay, next up for public comment is Kelly Olds. Kelly, if you are with us, your mic is now open.
Good evening, County Executive Klausmeier, Councilman Marks, and members of the council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. I am Kelly Olds, the president of TABCO and longtime educator in Baltimore County. I want to first acknowledge and appreciate that the superintendent's proposed budget for BCPS includes funding for the third year of our bilateral wage agreement. I particularly appreciate treating these wage agreements as fixed costs. TABCO and BCPS agreed to a 3-year contract, which was applauded by county leaders, so we could spend time focusing efforts on initiatives that advance students, educators, and schools away from the bargaining table. And that is where we turn our attention now. The proposed budget includes cuts to approximately 595 positions. I repeat, 595 positions are cut in the proposed budget. TABCO opposes these cuts as these cuts are too deep. Educators change the future for students. When there are less educators, our students suffer. We must work together to reduce these cuts. We also call for full transparency around cuts. To have the public discussion about cuts and losses, the community needs to know what is planned. The more the public, including our county leaders, understand what could be lost, the more we can together work to increase increase county funding to reduce the potential harm that would fall upon our students. All of this is to say, the work now is to reduce the size of these cuts. I've said it before, I've said it to any of you that I've met with, and I say it again now. Let's all work together to find additional money to fund the school system higher than 2% over maintenance of effort and support our students who are the future of this county.
Thank you, Kelly. As you know, I know we've talked about this. I can say that we have a good relationship with the superintendent. As you well know, that she's the one that sets her goal. And at this point, as I said, we have a good relationship, and we'll continue discussion with her as well as you. So thank you for your time. And again, thank you for all you do.
And Kelly, thank you. And just for everyone else, I'm a public school teacher in another county and greatly value and understand everything you're talking about. Thank you.
Okay, next up for public comment, we have John Dulina. John, if you are with us, your mic is now open.
Okay. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear
Okay.
you.
Just start off with back everything Vice President of Finance, John Schneckenberger said, and also Sue Bollinger, President of BCBFA. I'm President of Middle River Volunteer Fire Rescue. I'd like to thank County Executive Klausmeier and especially David Marks for all his guidance and support and encouragement as we work toward a build our new station on Whitemarsh Boulevard. One of the things I would really like to see is continuation of the medic unit replacement program. We're up for replacement for our medic unit in 2027 budget year and would appreciate your support with that. The other thing I would like to see is investigate a little bit into EMS billing, which the career and volunteer EMS units contribute significantly to that, and try to see if we can reinvest that into the fire department. And thank you, Councilman Marks, for all your support.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure we'll be looking into that. Got a couple things about the volunteer fire departments. So thank you.
Okay, next up for public comment, we have Amy Young. Amy, if you are with us, your microphone is now open. Amy Young.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Amy Young. I live in Perry Hall. I work for Gunpowder Valley Conservancy, and tonight I represent Baltimore County Land Trust Coalition, which is a nonprofit that supports land preservation and stewardship for 5 land trusts in our county. What we do on the land affects our waterways. It's all connected, and that is why I strongly believe preserving land has a positive impact on every resident of Baltimore County. Land preservation sustains us. Our drinking water is provided by 3 reservoirs that are mostly located in Baltimore County. That's Pretty Boy, Lock Raven, and Liberty. Land preservation enhances our quality of life with open space for recreational opportunities and scenic views. As Pat mentioned earlier, this is essential also within the URDL. Land preservation also supports agriculture that provides fresh local food and agritourism dollars. It keeps intergenerational farms intact, protecting historical structures and large areas of wildlife habitat. Even tonight, with all the snow on the ground, open space provides a way for that snow to filter back into the groundwater. When snow is on paved land, is more likely to get polluted and run off to the Chesapeake Bay. So tonight I am just sharing my thoughts. I am strongly in favor of additional sustained funding for land preservation and increased open space in Baltimore County. I believe supporting our preservation programs supports everyone in Baltimore County. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Amy. I'm going to have our planning director, Steve Lafferty, join us for a few minutes and give his views on what you just said. I think it's wonderful that you're taking good care of the earth for us.
Well, thank you, Amy. I really appreciate it. And we're certainly going to continue to work with the Gunpowder Valley Conservancy. We recognize the importance of not only land preservation, but as you know, with Megan Benjamin and others on our team, we're really working hard to ensure that we have more opportunities. So we are opening another round of rural legacy funds in the near future. And I think, as because of your active involvement with the Land Trust, that this is a critical time when we have to make sure that we balance not only land preservation, but also just making sure that the resources are there for us to work with. So if you haven't been talking to Megan recently, please reach out to her so we can continue that kind of conversation.
Okay, up next for public comment, we have Josh List. Josh, I believe this is you because I don't see a last name. Josh, if you can hear me, your microphone's open. I just have one that says Josh here. I'm gonna try one more here.
Can you hear me
Josh,
now?
can you hear me?
Yes, I have you.
Okay, there you go, sir. You have 90 seconds. Please to restart the clock for Josh, please. Thank you. Go ahead, Josh.
Thank you. I appreciate the support we continue to receive from our elected and appointed officials. I represent Kingsville Volunteers. In 2025, our volunteers answered thousands of emergency calls and service requests. Our volunteers spent over 23,000 hours training and preparing to answer calls. You will see a unified message countywide to enhance funding to volunteer fire and EMS companies. For over 100 years, volunteers have been saving taxpayers money. That's no salaries for any of our people. Thank you, and I yield my time.
Josh, thank you for what you're doing in Kingsville. Much appreciated. And for the rest of the staff there too.
I completely agree. Thank you, Josh. Thank you to all of our first responders.
Okay, next up for public comment, I have Deborah Kruger. Deborah, I don't see you on the list, but I have a Ricky Kruger. I'm hoping this is you. Deborah, can you hear me? Your mic should be open. Should be open. Deborah. Okay. One more chance. Okay, we're gonna move on. Michelle Streckfuss, you are now up next. Michelle, I don't even have anybody in here, so I don't think Michelle's with us. Next up for public comment.
Actually, Kelly Seabor and Michelle were going to go together.
Kelly, I do not have a Kelly Sabler.
I think they put something in chat, maybe.
About Angel Park,
Angel Park, yeah.
but okay, I was wondering because there's a
I mean, there's
misprint.
one
with
that just
Angel
says
Park.
Angel Park, so we'll open up
Yeah,
this
that's
mic and
us.
see if that's it.
There you go.
Angel
That's
Park?
us. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes. Hi,
Okay.
thank you. Hi, I'm Kelly Seabor, the founder of Angel Park. Thank you for having us, County Executive Klausmeier, Councilman Marks, and the members of the council. For most of you that might have heard of Angel Park, we constructed it in 2016 here in Perry Hall. It was community funded, community built, an all-inclusive playground that brings millions. Thanks to the community, it's almost 10 years this July. Through the community's continued support, through the fundraising and volunteer services to take care of the playground. Just a great example of partnership between the community and Baltimore County. Currently, the poured in place rubber surface that goes throughout the playground is in need of serious repair. For these past 10 years, we have been able to piece places together that need the serious fixing. But it's coming to us that it's going to be total repair. This is where all the accessibility comes throughout the playground. Every child gets to play side by side, no matter what their abilities. And so that has always been important to the community. And I'm going to turn now to our construction manager, Michelle, for more description of the request of funding that we're looking for.
Thank you very much. And just recognizing we have a short time here, we would just like to request some assistance with the funding of replacing the surface. It's estimated at $400,000, and we've appreciated the support of the community and the county in the past, and so we would appreciate any potential assistance going forward in the future. The surface will be out of warranty in 2026, so the time is now, I think, to get this into the budget if it's at all possible. One last comment, we estimate about 3.6 million people come annually to Angel Park. So it is an impact on our community in a very positive way. Thank you very much.
Thank you both.
Kelly and Michelle, I think maybe we'll be looking and we'll see if we can get some, we're going to recommend to our delegates and senators in Annapolis to try to get some state bond funding for it. So we'll work there, but that we'll see what we can do. Okay. And we'll keep in touch.
Okay, next up for public comment, I have Jack Amrine, but I have two different Jack Amrine signed up, so we're going to try both of these mics for you, Jack. Hold on. Jack, are you there?
I am here.
Okay, Jack, your time starts now.
Okay, good evening. Thank you for allowing us to speak tonight. I want to mention a couple of things as the existing CIP. As Councilman Marks mentioned, Durst Park needs to be completed. But along with that, as he mentioned, with the increase in residency in the area, we are losing some park space at the same time while we're adding population. So I would like to see some money in the CIP for an expansion of Snyder Park along Chapel Road and completion of an existing project, the Circle on Honeygo. It's already funded. It just needs to get moving. Land acquisition is the problem at this point. So if we could speed that up, it would certainly help. I would like to add something to the CIP, and that would be preservation expansion of the Rakowski Taylor Farm. Councilman Marks was very successful in a land swap with SHA several years ago. That is a very historic farm in northern Kingsville, and we are looking to expand that, possibly combining it with Mount Vista Park. So I would ask that you add that to the CIP. I would also ask that you consider increasing and funding the full $80 million request for building a new fire rescue academy. As you have heard from many volunteers and career individuals, the services that the fire department provides to this county needs a quality, modern training facility. I believe $80 million is the budget request. However, it was cut to 40 is my understanding. So I would ask that you please expand that. And I would also ask that you go along with what others have said and put some funding into volunteer stations for the service they provide. I would ask that you consider support of House Bill 127 and Senate Bill 235, which allows a property tax credit for certain public safety officials, following along with the enabling legislation that was passed several years ago and discussed in the county chambers. I would ask that you look into a project to reuse and utilize some of the things that are at the Eastern Sanitary Landfill. For example, there are probably several hundred bikes up there that could be given to low-income families or utilized other than filling our landfill. And finally, I would ask that we fully support immigration for those that are illegal and for those that are violent criminals. Our police force does an amazing job, but they could use some help with the violent criminals in Baltimore County. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jack. We'll look into all those issues.
Okay, next up
Thank you,
for
Jack.
public comment, we have George Padarakis. George, if you're with us, your mic should be open. George, can you hear us?
Good evening.
There we go.
Hello, George.
Can you hear us? Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is George Perdikakis, and County Executive Klausmeier, Councilman Marks. I was looking forward to come in and see you personally. Unfortunately, the weather did not cooperate. You all know that I have worked in the metropolitan area for many, many years. The last time I count was 40 years. I hired one of the best or the best transportation engineer, Mr. Wes Cochran. Unfortunately, he's not here with us anymore. He passed away about a month and a half ago. Therefore, I'm obligated to talk on his behalf about Ebenezer Road from Pulaski Highway, the widening of Ebenezer Road from Pulaski Highway to Philadelphia Road. It's a project that it's needed. The area has expanded so well, and we need to help the small business owners. I have been working with the FAMs, which they own.
Mr. Perdikakis, we have about 20 more seconds here, sir, please.
Okay, thank you. And I have Ms. Pham in here that she will talk about the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, George.
Okay, next for public comment, we've got a few more of these. Tracy Pham, if you're with us, your mic should be open. Tracy, can you hear us?
Yes, good evening. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
My name is Tracy Pham. My husband Vince and I own Sassy Nails at 5512 Ebenezer Road. And we have been honored to serve this community for many years. We came to this country from Vietnam 30 years ago, and now we are very proud Americans with 3 beautiful girls. Like many small business owners, we work extremely hard every day for our customers and are making significant investments in our business and our future here in District 5. When local businesses invest, it shows confidence in our neighborhood. but that effort depends on infrastructure that keeps up. Ebenezer Road is already under strain. Traffic congestions, limited turning space, and safety concerns affect customers, employees, and nearby businesses every day. As White Marsh continues to grow, these problems won't go away, they will increase. So by widening Ebenezer Road, that would benefit for more than one business. It would improve traffic flow, make the road safer for drivers and pedestrians, and help customers, service vehicles, and emergency responders move more easily. It would support assisting businesses and encourage responsible growth. This is about planning by having better utilities and plans. This will assist small businesses, protect property values, and improve daily life for everyone who uses this road. So we're asking the county to see this as a long-term investment in District 5 and the people who work and live here. Thank you for your time and considerations.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Tracy. Because you and George asked for the same thing, I'm going to have Lauren Buckler come up and see if it's on the books or if it's not on the books. I'm not sure. So, Lauren, can you address this, please?
Sure. So we had a speaker earlier that asked about this too. This is widening of Ebenezer Road from Pulaski Highway to Philadelphia Road. This is also requested as part of the planning board CIP process. It is not currently a project in the budget, and we are in an out year of capital budget funding, but we will keep it in mind as we look at future bond initiatives and future capital projects.
Okay, thank you. I'm told that we have Ricky Kruger back. Ricky, can you hear us? I'm trying to unmute your mic, Ricky, but it won't unmute for some reason. Yep, I'm sorry. We're going to have to move on. I cannot unmute his microphone. Edwin Perez, if you're with us, you are up next. Your microphone.
Hi, good evening.
You go, sir.
Sorry, is that open? Sorry, thank you. Good evening, County Executive Klausmeier and Councilman Marks. My name is Edwin Perez. As an educator at Perry Hall High School in Councilman Marks' District 5, my commitment to our students' growth, learning, and success is a daily choice. Tonight, I'm asking you to make that same choice. If you trace the line of student success back to its origin, it leads directly to those of us in this room. While we do receive other aid, the Baltimore County government funding is the primary source for our daily stability. When this source is restricted, the schoolhouse, the students, and the educators feel the impact immediately. I must address 3 urgent budget concerns affecting our schools and essentially our entire community. First, the loss of educators. We are facing a possible reduction of nearly 600 positions. These are the educators who keep our children safe and focused daily. We cannot afford to lose these educators. Second, crowded classroom. Budget cuts may push classroom sizing from 22 to 25 students or more. Those 3 extra chairs mean less one-to-one time for every individual child. Third, infrastructure decay. Between aging buildings and a cut to supplies, we are asking students to learn in environments and educators to teach in spaces that are falling behind the times. The county executive can lead the way with 3 collaborative solutions: create a secure funding line, establish a structural funding floor that is nearly impossible to defund, fully fund the district operating budget, move beyond the increased target to protect those 600 critical positions. We cannot continue to do more with less any longer. And invest in campus resilience. Commit to a multi-year strategy that prioritizes campus safety and modernizes all schoolhouse resources. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Edwin. It's Kevin Reed, Director of Budget Finance. Thank you for the comments. I think we heard a couple speakers from BCPS, and we wanted to say that the superintendent's budget's out. I think it's going yet to the board. We're still very early in our budget process. We're looking at all different avenues in conjunction with BCPS as far as declining student population, what state aid is coming at us, as well as what county aid is affordable. So it's still early in the process. We really appreciate you and the rest of the folks from BCPS coming on and expressing your concerns, and we will take that under consideration as we move through this formulation process with a lot of different pieces.
And thank you for teaching.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, next for public comment, we have Anne Marie Glinowicki. I hope I'm saying that correctly, ma'am. Probably not.
You got it. Good evening, Madam County Executive and Councilman Marks. I'm Anne Marie Glinowicki, a volunteer with Court-Appointed Special Advocates of Baltimore County. FYI, while there are other organizations called CASA, we're the only ones serving children in foster care. I'm also a District 5 resident. We thank the County Executive and Councilman Marks for their past support. Tonight, I'm here to request continued funding for services urgently needed for older youth, ages 14 and up, as they age out of foster care and beyond through our Youth Engagement Specialist position. Foster care is for children and youth who are removed from their homes due to abuse or neglect or the death of their parents or guardians. Once removed, these children go through Baltimore County courts and are placed in homes with foster parents, group homes, or other placements with social services. Although CASA is in state law as part of the Baltimore County court system, we're still required to do our own fundraising. Yet we are the only program authorized by the courts to advocate for children and youth in foster care. The Council's continued support is vital to ensure that older youth in foster care and those who leave the system between the ages of 18 and 21 have the advocacy, support, and guidance they need to become independent adults. CASAs ask questions others might not have time to ask, and they bring those answers directly to the court. Personally, I have support young adults high school age. They specifically have needed guidance with not only their ongoing educational endeavors, but navigating the real world experiences. But beyond the outcomes of data, CASAs offer something just as important: connection. They remind youth that they matter, that their voice counts, and that someone sees them, not as a case number, but as a child with potential. This is why I personally support CASA, Baltimore County's Youth Engagement Specialist position, and why I hope the funding for the specialist position will be continued for the budget. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anne Marie. And thank you for volunteering with CASA. And we will look into it and see what we can do about it. So you guys do great work.
Yes, they do.
So this concludes the public comment period.
I did want to say the Krugers who could not get on, they were going to speak about West Twin River's water main replacement. So I just wanted to bring that up.
David?
Good. Yes. Do you want me to say something or?
No, I said, where is West River?
West Twin Rivers is in eastern Baltimore County. It's on the water. It's kind of in the Oliver Beach, Harewood Park area. They've had a series of water main problems. And also, Jeff Budnitz says he might be one. I don't know what to check on that. Is he in the queue?
Sure. Jeff, can you hear us? Jeff Budnitz?
Am I able to speak?
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Your mic is live.
Perfect. I wanted to say good evening to everyone. County Exec Klausmeier, Councilman Marks, County Administrative Officer DeAndrea Walker, and Director Kevin Reed. First thing I'm going to start off with is a huge thank you. We cannot be more pleased as the Lake Roland Nature Council and myself as a 26-year volunteer for Baltimore County with the selection of Brian Shepard as the Director of Rec and Parks. It's been one of the best leadership decisions for that department in a long time. And because of that, I'm going to segue into ask for continued financial support for the department. I think Brian will be an excellent steward of any funds that are provided in these lean times and will exponentially maximize the outcome of those dollars. In addition to that, I'd like to ask for additional funding for DPWT, DEPS, and I've asked this before related to looking at flooding in communities and ways to mitigate that. And also I have to support Baltimore County Property Management because they are the ones that keep everything glued together. So that's all I have to say this evening. And David, I have to say I've always enjoyed volunteering with you. So always a pleasure.
Same. Thanks for the wonderful work you do.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, I'm told we have one more, Gloria Kelly. If you are there, Gloria, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, Gloria, you're our final public comment of the evening. Your time
Good
starts
evening,
now.
Councilman and Madam Klausmeier. I would like to address the issue of the website. I've been to two prior county town hall meetings, and nothing was ever done. But prior to Johnny O, there was a website that was much, much easier to navigate. Why they changed this new one, I have no idea. But especially for zoning violations, but in particular for taxes, if you want to do your taxes, you have to go to two websites and there's no information. You don't know if there's 2 bedrooms or 2 baths. So I don't know how you can compare them and how you can possibly know what you're doing to appeal, because there's no statistics on there. It doesn't say whether there's 2 bathrooms. It doesn't tell you whether what the square footage is, not on either website, not on the state and not on the county website. This really needs to be looked into, and particularly because I think it's extremely difficult for the senior citizens to navigate. So I would appreciate if somebody would at least look into this. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Gloria.
So Gloria, it's Kevin Reed, Director of Budget Finance. If you can send your information through that email, we will have someone reach out to you tomorrow and take care of if you have any questions about properties that you're trying to look up. You can check your tax bill in real time online, but we want to make sure you're going to the right place. And if there's an issue, we'll help you out.
I have one more. Anita Bass just emailed me. Said she's in the queue.
Anita, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, Anita, you're the last one.
All right. Thank you. I am here. Thank you, County Executive Klausmeier. This is Anita. How are you doing? And Councilman David Marks.
Hi, Anita.
Hi. I'm here to talk about, we had, 14 part-time librarians get fired and then rehired. So we have some issues with what's going on with that as far as where those 14 part-time librarians are, because we did get a message from the board president to let us know that there was something that came about in 2019 of attrition, but we're trying to figure out why are they trying to get rid of part-time librarians. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing is, I worked at the Essex Library branch, and we are hoping that there'll be some funding for the new Essex Library branch. I know that was a plan at some point, and I hope that is still a plan. Okay, and also our HR department needs some help. So I don't know what we can do about that. There's issues with that. We were talking about them being either outsourced or talking about the Inspector General. I know they don't have anything to do any jurisdiction with us now, but I'd like to know what we can do about that. All right. So I know I don't have much time, but thank you. And I did forget to introduce myself. Anita Bass. I am the local president for 4538 IAM, and I represent Apple workers and Baltimore County Public Library workers. Thank you for giving me the time to speak.
Anita, it's Kevin Reed. Again, it sounds like a lot of going back to 2019, the plans that the library system had, I think that's something that you'd have to ask them. It's a component unit of Baltimore County. Again, managed by the board and that entity. As far as some of the future funding, I did talk about that this is an off year as far as FY27, that there is no additional bonding programmed, but Essex Library is on our radar for future.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Patrick, I'd like to acknowledge the folks who couldn't get a chance to speak. From Boldy's Quarters Volunteer Fire Company, they had a pretty large contingent. They were going to speak about the need for the new facility there. I think Steve Redmond was also going to speak as well. I just wanted to acknowledge them. I don't know if there's any. I guess we've cut off. Is that it, or?
Yeah, that was it for tonight, but they can still submit budget requests through the town hall at Baltimore County MD.gov email. And just want to say thank you very much to the county executive, Kathy Klausmeier, to Councilman Marks, and the entire staff for joining us. I would like to thank all of you for joining us and sharing your budget priorities. And again, if you did not have the opportunity to share your priorities with the county executive tonight, you may submit them in writing to townhall@baltimorecountymd.gov. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all very much for coming tonight. Thank you, County Executive and staff.